Definitely really solid players.
Plus, what if they got paired? That'd be awesome.
Ooh, wow.
What a story.
Yeah, I don't think Sarah was sitting in the middle, though. So, as you can see, an overhead view. Middle, we have John Sukenik. To the right and left, obviously, his teammates.
Yes.
On the other side, we have Adam all the way to the right. In the middle and to the left, obviously, his teammates.
His teammates?
Yeah, you got it right, AJ.
Did I do it?
Yeah.
All right.
So, we have Sukenik on the left, and it looks like he's playing a Demir-type build, Island Swamp.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a longer game, right? No
Yeah,
two
sure.
drop. Well, I say that as he unleashes a creature.
Wow,
but,
yeah. All right. So 3 mana, 2/3 flyer.
Yep. And
Can't block.
wow, Simic Manipulator.
All right. So how do we pronounce the guys in the right name?
Yeah, I did. I was waiting for you to do it.
You were trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna say the K silent. So it's Kvartek. Yeah.
Kvartek.
Yeah, Kvartek.
All right.
Ooh. Okay.
That's a pretty good answer to the Manipulator. I mean, it's gonna
but the
presumably grow to the point where
it's gonna
it falls
fall off.
off.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, it's a stopgap. Like, you got to do something. You can't just let them steal all your guys.
Sure. So there we see on the screen the Rakdos Drake, 3 mana, 1/2 flyer, pretty bad, but 3 mana, 2/3 flyer, a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, you can't block, but
yeah, I mean, now we have a 3/3 reach guy on the other side. So really, the cards for Kvartek matching up quite well against Jonathan Sukenik's deck.
Definitely. The Moss Dog has been one of the better cards that we've seen throughout the day. 4 mana, 3/3 reach, scavenge. Pretty much everything you want.
Yeah, it's aggressively costed, plays defense really well thanks to reach, and has late game utility in the form of scavenge.
Yeah.
Does it all.
Yeah, exactly.
It slices, it dices, it blocks flyers.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid card. And as you can see, that Simic Manipulator is growing and growing. Now it's 2/3, so all it really needs to do is evolve once more, and it's going to be a big threat.
Twice more, right? It's 3 or less.
Sure.
Yeah,
twice
yeah.
more, yeah.
Two more evolves and that'll fall off. And a pair of Moss Dogs holding down the fort. Although the what's that? The unblockable guy.
Yeah, Sukenik has 2 pretty much invasion creatures, although the Moss Dog could block the flyer. So
Sphinx of the Chimes.
Yeah, Sphinx of the Chimes is
5/6
definitely a powerful one.
flyer. If you have 2 cards of the same name in your hand, you can discard them to draw 4 cards. Not an ability that comes up in Limited all that often, but the 5/6 flying body, usually not something
joke around with.
Yeah, but you know, 2 Moss Dogs once again.
Double block it.
Yep.
And it's just a 1-for-1 trade. So this just in, Finchler actually already won the game.
Finchler?
Yeah.
We're gonna put that L.
Sure. So he's up a game, and that's pretty
That was a
good
fast one.
Yeah, really.
Probably some mulligans involved there, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
just
just
some
about 5
aggressive
minutes.
Rakdos or Boros draw.
Yeah. All right, so we see
Drakeling Crisis, the Manipulator up to 3, 1 more evolve.
yeah, maybe we can get Kvartek to move his creatures, because it looks like they're starting to drift off camera.
Yeah, a little off-centered.
Yeah, we'll get that fixed for you guys.
All these 3 power things that can block flyers, and Sukenik just attacking with a bunch of unblockable dudes. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
he
why
knows
not?
that he's got his time is limited before
Yes.
that Manipulator comes online and just takes it over. So he's trying to get in there, trying to put the game onto a say 3 turn clock.
Yep. All right, so there's a Corpse Blockade. 3 mana, 1/4 from Gatecrash. Defender, not that good, but you can sacrifice a creature and
Give it Death Touch.
yeah, so it makes it a bit better right there.
Definitely a playable card, but not too great in this situation.
Yeah. Right now on the screen, we see the Simic Manipulator.
Yes.
So right now it's a 3/4. Evolve, remove 1 or more +1/+1 counters, and you're able to gain control of your opponent's target creature.
So, there's removal spell for one of the evasive creatures, and you know, Kvartek's stuck on 4 lands, so and it's pretty hard to play a 4-drop that's going to evolve a 3/4.
Exactly.
But if he gets a couple more lands, plays 1 more guy, then the enchantment will actually fall off the Manipulator. Manipulator gets active, and then you know that's going to be all she wrote. If I had to guess.
Yeah.
So Sukenik definitely still trying to close the game out as quickly as he can, activating his key rune and attacking every turn in lieu of playing spells. Just trying to get Kvartek dead. Looks like he has him down to 8, so 4 more turns if he can get there.
And he's doing a good job of it.
Yeah, I mean he knows his chance of victory is going to be to use his unblockable creatures to finish the game before the Manipulator breaks out and stabilizes. And meanwhile, the 5th land is in play. Wow, and there is the creature to evolve the Simic Manipulator.
1/5 flyer, vigilance. When it attacks, all your attacking creatures get +1/+1.
Most importantly, right now though, is just the fact that it has 5 toughness.
Yeah.
To evolve that Simic Manipulator to 4/5, get the enchantment to fall off, and now it'll untap and start stealing guys.
Yeah.
Dangerous stuff.
Yeah, definitely a dangerous card. I mean, definitely a first pick card. So we'll see what happens.
So it looks like Sukenik's gonna have to have like hard removal for the Manipulator now, right? Like, I don't think he can feasibly race it or beat it without something like a Grizzly Spectacle.
Yeah, that's fair.
So what do you think his plan is here? Just peel a removal spell, or can he find an attack here?
Yeah, I'm looking through Sukenik's list right now. I'm trying to see what he could draw, what can he really do. He does have 2 launch parties in his deck, so that could be pretty good.
Yeah, he's got the free dude to sacrifice, his frozen unblockable guy.
Yeah, so
launch party would definitely be ideal here.
Yeah, so I think he might be relying on that. Looking through into Gate Crash, he does have 3 Cloudfin Raptors, so this game they're not really going to shine if he draws them, unless he draws 2 and he's able to discard them to the Sphinx of Chimes.
Yeah, that's going to be his best use for those.
Yeah, he also has a Night Veil Spectre, so his deck looks to be on the powerful side over here.
His deck seems sweet, but it seems to match up really poorly against Kvartek. Like, reach guys and flying guys with huge toughness and Manipulator, like...
Yeah.
All those cards match up perfectly against, like, Cloudfin Raptor, 2/3 Flyer, Sphinx of the Chimes, etc.
Yeah.
So Sukenik is finding an attack here. The Perilous Shadow with a bit of Mana Flood is quite threatening, and I guess you can force trades here, or force unfavorable blocks thanks to your Shadow, so your other guys get to attack as well, maybe representing a trick. Not sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Runner's Bane did do some work. It stopped the Simic Manipulator for the first couple of turns, but now the Runner Bane fell off. Simic Manipulator is a 4/5, and it's looking pretty good for Kvartek.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you put together these blocks as Kvartek?
It's really tough. I mean, it depends what's in his hand. It depends what his strategy is. Maybe he has something in his deck like Biomass Mutation where he doesn't want to lose his guys. Maybe he has something in his deck like Dramatic Rescue where he knows that he could go down to a low life and just gain some life back there. So double blocking seems to be right here.
Yeah, I was actually, these are the blocks that I was going to suggest.
Okay.
Trade off your Drackwing for the 2/3. Basically chump with the Shadow, but you force Sukenik to use his whole turn pumping.
Sure.
And trade like one of the Mossy Men for the Sphinx of the Chimes.
Okay. Now, a neat interaction is that in Gate Crash there was no scavenge.
Right.
But now you can scavenge onto the
Scavenge onto the evolved guy is super awesome.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because you get to use those +1/+1 counters, no matter how they got there.
Yes.
Evolve or scavenge, they still steal creatures.
Yes, exactly. All right, so does Sukenik have anything else? No, it looks like he's just going to pass the turn.
And now the Manipulator can theoretically steal the Shadow for 2 counters, while Sukenik is tapped low. And
he could also use the Shadow because he has Prentat Prism. So he's able to,
that's cool.
To filter black mana. So just something neat right there. And I think that's, it would be nice, but it's not going to happen because of the Corpse Blockade. So I think you still go for it and just use it as a removal spell.
Yeah, I think the Shadow sort of in the Abyss mode is a little too scary.
Yeah.
At 8 life, yep, there you see. Remove 2 counters to get the Shadow. And
Sukenik's just going to sacrifice it.
It's going to get sacrificed to the Blockade, and so now the Manipulator just, eating dudes.
Yeah.
Doing what he does. The Blockade minimizes the damage for now.
Okay.
In the fact that Kvartek just is killing creatures instead of stealing them, but like it's just pure inevitability. to use the Magic terminology. The game will inevitably go to the Simic Manipulator if left unchecked. Sukenik is still looking for a removal spell. And what is this? A Cloudfin Raptor and a Fathom Mage.
Okay.
Evolve the Raptor. Fathom Mage with Scavenge.
Yeah.
Another really awesome interaction.
That's pretty nice. I can see how these guys are 6-1. Looks like powerful decks from both sides.
Yeah, for sure.
So
And Keyroon attack, that's all he's got.
Bringing Kvartek down to 6 life.
No idea what that is.
That is the 2 mana 05.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Definitely not that impressive, but
I'm not sure the exact name of it, but it is, if my memory serves me correctly, I think it's the Murmuring Phantasm.
Okay, it's a
I
phantasm that murmurs.
Yeah, it's just a 2 mana 05 defender.
It's not a phantom that mumbles.
Oh, and there it is on the screen. Yes, Murmuring Phantasm.
Okay.
So, yeah, a card you don't really see much of. I don't think it's very powerful.
No,
it's kind of
it's definitely a controlling card, right? Like if you think your late game is good enough to sort of waste or invest a card in nothing but early defense, like preserving your life total to get to that end game, then it seems fine. But it's definitely not like a traditionally good limited card. Right?
Okay.
Cards that don't actively progress your board, clock your opponent, deal with bomby creatures, basic creatures, etc. Traditionally not that great, but depending on your deck, it can definitely be an inclusion. Also, the inflated toughness on some of the defenders, like Hover Barrier or whatever, are pretty cool with the Evolve guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Just in general.
So it looks like Sukenik drew a Clownfoot Raptor.
Speaking of Evolve guys.
And he's going to pass a turn. He can no longer attack with the Dimir Keyroon. He can no longer activate the Dimir Keyroon because of the Simic Manipulator.
Yep.
It is now untapped. He can just remove 2 counters, steal the Dimir Keyroon, keep it forever.
Yep, as we kind of saw coming, and I'm sure Jonathan did as well, the Simic Manipulator really taking over the game here.
Definitely.
And using a counter to take the blockade so that any future creatures that the Simic Manipulator steals will actually be stolen and not just sacrificed. There's the 6th land for the scavenge on the Moss Dog is like the nail in the coffin at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And also
speaking of nails in coffins,
Armada
Worm double evolve all my guys, draw 2 cards from the Manipulator, or draw 2 cards from the Fathom Mage, and put 2 more counters on the Manipulator.
Yeah, this is looking very, very good for Kvartek.
Absolutely.
There's the Armada Worm, the Mythic Rare from Return to Ravnica. So, I don't really see it too much as standard anymore. I'm kind of confused why. It's just such a powerful card.
It is. It's definitely good. Fairly outclassed by things like Angel of Serenity, but as we see the format progress, we may see more of them. I actually like his little brother from the new set, the Advent of the Worm, the Flash Worm. That card is awesome. Yeah,
definitely a strong card there too. Being able to play a really big threat on your opponent's turn is something to consider wisely. All right, so there is just a chump block. I'm not sure what Sukenik's trying to draw to. He's squeezing out this card here. Not too much.
A white source and a merciless eviction.
Yeah, I think this is looking, I don't want to say game over because it's not quite yet, but really bad shape for Sukenik.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say game over.
I don't know. You never know. I mean, we saw some crazy games here, Cedric and I, yesterday and even today. So,
hands your 05 for value. Aetherize is the only thing that I can think of, but
Aetherize will help a little bit.
That only delays the inevitable at this point. Even the Manipulator getting in there.
Yeah. So it looks like Kvartek has multiple Runner's Bane. Do you think Sukenik will go to a sideboard, maybe sideboard into a different color? If he, maybe they said, hey, we're going to give you some white cards, we're going to give you this Keening Apparition.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of value to that sort of tuning your deck to match up against your opponent's deck, right? Like, you want your cards to pair off favorably, and I think that sideboarding in Limited in general is like pretty undervalued by the average player. Okay. I think that it's something that the better players, like, I know Ben Stark, like, best Limited mind in the game today.
Yeah.
Sideboards more in Limited than anyone else I've ever seen.
Okay.
I think that that's definitely something that you should be looking to do, and especially in these team formats where the way that the matchups pair off, you can definitely sculpt your builds to the matchup quite favorably.
Okay, so here we see a new match. It's between Gereffi and Finchler. And there's an Arrows of Justice we pick up here. There's an Ash Zealot that's coming across. There's a Selesnya Keyrune, and there's the Gate Creeper Vine.
I love the Plains Forest Rakdos Guildgate board.
Yeah.
This format's so awesome
It really
for exactly
is.
that reason.
It reminds me a lot like the Ravnica format.
Yeah.
Just, well, return to Ravnica. So.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
We've returned.
There you see Ash Zealot on the screen. 2 mana, 2/2 first strike haste. Whenever a player casts a spell from the graveyard, Ash Zealot deals 3 damage to that player. Now, in this format, there's pretty much nothing from the graveyard you're going to cast.
But haste, 2/2 first strike, that's like fairly reasonably sized, and haste along with Battalion,
Yes.
or the aggression of Unleash, like it fits quite well into both Rakdos and Boros.
Yeah, it really does. So Gereffi with one of his mythic rares from the new set from Dragon Maze. This is 1 green, 1 red. It is a star with the number of counters you invest, so it's going to be a 5/5 double.
Oh, is this the
strike.
Hydra?
Yes, yeah.
Wow, the double strike Hydra.
Yeah.
And then you can pay 1 in a red, remove a counter, and shoot something?
Yes.
That's quite good.
Yeah, maybe we could bring it up on the screen as well, so the players at home could see exactly what it does.
Cinder Elemental, another X creature, but not quite as powerful.
Yeah. There it is, Savage-born Hydra.
So in addition to being a giant threat, I mean, it attacks for 10 this turn. It
Sure.
also is threatening to just like completely wipe Finchler's board. Take out the Elemental. You can take out the, is that a Fire Fist Striker?
Yes, 5 Fist Striker.
You can take that thing out pretty much at any point.
With what?
This thing.
No, the Hydra just puts a +1/+1 counter on it. You're allowed to make it grow.
Oh,
Okay.
I totally misunderstood what that card did. Excuse me.
Yeah, there it is on the screen. Double strike. Enters the battlefield with the X +1/+1 counters. For 2 mana, you can put a +1/+1 counter on itself. You can only do it as a sorcery. Still, really awesome card.
Yeah, it's very good. I think that you probably want to pump it here to get it out of Cinder Elemental range.
Okay, that's definitely fair.
Which, at that point, once you're pumping it, like, shouldn't you do that pre-combat?
Yeah, to just deal more damage. But instead, I guess he doesn't really care if it's going to get...
That's make a 3/3 gain life.
Yes. So he's going to gain 2 life for each creature he controls.
Which is going to be 3 creatures.
So 6 life?
Yeah. Or no, he activated his. I think he might have activated his Keyrune for another 2 life there.
Well, then he doesn't have enough mana if he were to activate the Keyrune, correct?
No,
It'd be...
no, he mana from the Keyrune for 5.
Oh, yeah, he activates... Okay, I
Yeah.
see what you're doing, yeah.
So, surely as Finchler here, you have to spend your turn cindering down the Hydra, right? Like, it's just too scary of a threat. You're going to have to chump it next turn, and every turn from there on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really too sure why he didn't pump the Hydra.
Yeah, I definitely would have spent at least part of my turn getting the Hydra out of Cinder Elemental range.
Yeah,
and
just
sure enough,
get to a
Finchler
7/7.
agrees. Just get rid of that Hydra while I can. Like, I know I'm behind on board, but at least this is a recoverable position.
Exactly.
Whereas the position facing down a growing double striker that is lethal and growing, like that's just straight up impossible to come back from.
Maybe he didn't know what the Hydra did. Maybe he thought it shot as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So, all right. So another update. Ezegelian also won. These names are very difficult to pronounce.
Yeah.
So, the whole entire team is up again.
That is not the best position to be up against.
Back completely against the wall.
Yeah. Wow, and that's the 6/6 Reach Vigilance.
Exactly.
Whenever you play a non-creature spell, takes 6 to the
damage.
dome.
Yep, and it has to attack each turn if able.
Although I don't think that's much of a drawback.
No, definitely not.
He's
Well, definitely not here.
likely to be attacking every turn no matter what.
Sure.
But even if Finchler had a removal spell for it, it would drop him to 1.
Yes.
That's a pretty scary spot.
Yeah, I mean, Finchler just has a bunch of 2 1s and a 2/2 on the table.
Yeah,
not
well,
really
this is
doing
what
too
happens
much.
when the Boros Battalion aggressive decks enter the mid to late game.
Yeah.
Its creatures are just outclassed. Its spells aren't that powerful. It really needs to create an advantage in the early game and use that advantage either to outright kill the opponent and you win, or get them in a spot where they have to make such unfavorable trades. They have to trade down at such an unfavorable rate that you're advantaged into the mid game and then can convert that advantage before you enter this mid game where you're not favored anymore. And none of those things happened.
Okay, yeah, that definitely makes sense what you're saying here.
So here we see an attack from the Keyrune, the Centaur, and the 6/6. Looks like a triple block on the 6/6 is the only option.
Yeah, and eventually we're going on to 1 life here.
Yeah, trading his squad, going down to 1, facing 2 lethal creatures, and the rest of his opponent's turn, which is just the Guild Gate, but
yeah, Guildgate pass the turn.
punish after damage so that, he doesn't take 6 from the guy, but he doesn't draw an answer for the 3/3. It's going to kill him, and Gereffi evens up the match.
Yeah. All right, so Finchler has a game, Gereffi has a game. So, I mean, it's the right start for his team.
Yeah, the comeback train.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be nice. Now, both teams right here are 6-1. So the winner will have the 7-1. Unlikely they'll be able to draw the last round.
But still staying alive for the elimination rounds. That's
Exactly.
what's important.
Yeah. So this tournament is tough. A lot of teams, a lot of players. Got to go 8-1 to make top 8. Actually, got to top 4. So 8-1 to make top 4.
Yeah, these things are cutthroat, man.
Yeah,
Double
yeah.
elimination, like.
Yeah. So you ended up not playing, AJ?
Correct. I slept in.
Okay.
I decided to come and just hang out, watch. I've been watching Huey, Owen, and Reed tearing it up all day. Yeah, jump in the booth, hang out with you, Gerard.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, AJ.
Yeah.
All right. So we see Best tap 2 lands. Play a War Clam Charger. 3/2.
Chainwalker.
Chainwalker.
Corehouse Chainwalker. And it looks like a Dutiful Thrall. Pretty nice little answer there with the black mana to regenerate.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna take a look at Best's list, see exactly what he has.
I love this guy, the 4/4. Well, it's a 2/2
Yes.
with haste, and when it comes into play, it's a 4/4 for that turn.
Yes.
Awesome battalion enabler, because you can play like your 2-drop battalion guy, your 3-drop battalion guy, and then this thing on 4, and you automatically have battalion that turn. Plus he's hitting for 4. It's like pretty outrageous, and then you still have battalion the next attack.
Yeah, it's
Very awesome.
The Machino First Blade. If you guys want to take a look at it on screen, we'll try to bring it up for you. We saw it earlier today. We saw it in round 3. I think we saw it in round 5.
One of the better aggressive cards for sure.
Yeah, it really is. Just such a powerhouse card, and a card you really want in your Burrows deck.
Absolutely. And then Dutiful Thrall and a 1/3. So the complete opposite on the other side of the board. We see like exclusively defensive creatures. These might even be sideboarded in, specifically for this matchup, which is completely reasonable. Pursuit of Flight from the Boros deck, just +2/+2. Once again, maximum aggression all the time.
I'm not the biggest fan of Pursuit of Flighting onto the 2/2 and not onto the 3/2. Why would you not want to make it a 5/4? And why?
Maybe the 3 power is looks like an aerial maneuver. Aerial maneuver on the Gorehouse Chainwalker. Prevent the trade. Hit for 4 from the first blade. And pretty dominating board. Ezegelian gonna have to have a pretty good turn here. He's got the mana. Does he have a play that will help stabilize this pretty scary board?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. We'll have to find out.
Sunspire Griffin, not a bad play. Looks like he's got a couple options here, actually.
Yeah, but does
Thrill
anything
Kill
really do
Assassin,
anything?
also pretty nice.
Does anything really help him? You know,
Well,
is anything to pull out of this?
It's he goes with the lifelink extorter.
Yes.
So like your Dutiful Thrall is like locked down on the 4/4, right? Like
Sure.
you're basically down a black mana and your Dutiful Thrall. Like
Okay.
that thing is on blocking duty. And then you have a bunch of options to either trade with the 3/2
Okay.
or extend your board. Wow, Madcap skills.
Yeah.
Eggs, meat, basket. player is all in. We have a 7/4 creature that must be blocked twice.
Yeah, 2 creatures have to block it.
So the Dutiful Thrall can no longer do it. He was on guard duty, but now he needs a friend.
Yeah, definitely. Now something like a Smite would be really bad here, but
Yeah, if he has the removal spell, then it's, you know, the full 3-for-1 and stabilize the board. That's a huge swing. But if he doesn't have the removal spell, then he's going to be under a lot of pressure.
it looks like there's an Orzhov Charm. and
Is that an Orzhov Charm?
That's what it looks like. Maybe we could check on his deck.
If
list
that's
he
an
actually
Orzhov
has it.
Charm, then that is definitely going to be a good play for him.
But it's not an Orzhov Charm?
Ooh, he
It
does
is.
indeed have an
Alright.
Orzhov
So
Charm.
it is the Orzhov Charm. We could pull Orzhov Charm up on the screen for you guys at home. Uncommon from Gate Crash.
Yeah,
One
there
white,
it
one
is.
black. 3 different abilities, just like all the charms.
A bunch of abilities, but this time it's going to be Vendetta.
Yes.
Kill a guy, lose life equal to his toughness. So the full 3-for-1, he's going to take 4 damage from it, which is, you know, not
There's
nothing.
Orzhov Charm. Yeah.
Definitely not nothing, but it's still fairly scary. And the Dutiful Thrall chump blocking. I guess he wants to use that black mana for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Likely to extort, right? Like,
I really don't like a couple of these plays, to be honest. But
well, he's going to 9 from the charm, so
Sure.
like he doesn't want to go to 6. That's a reasonable life total to prevent yourself from going to. Like, you know, there are a couple things you could die to from 6.
Okay.
It is a fairly conservative play, but after getting a full 3-for-1, I think that, you know, sacrificing 1 card, turning your 3-for-1 into a 2, your 1-for-3 into a 2-for-3, like you're still advantaged on the exchange. Extort theoretically gonna gain you enough life that, look, I don't want to say more life than the Dutiful Thrall would save you, but enough life that it's like fairly mitigated that you're down a blocker. It's certainly a conservative play. I would understand why you'd have reservations about it, but I also understand why he would make such a block.
there's a Griffin with Extort.
And on the other table, we see that Jonathan Sukenik has tied it up against Kvartek, and they are also going to game 3. And there you see players going over Finchler's mulligan decision. Do I keep this? Do I not? One of the more important parts of the team format. You know, a lot of times in the team format, like a game is pretty intensive. A lot of plays depend on how the game's developed. It's kind of hard for a player to jump in at a certain point. But mulligan decisions, you know, your teammates know what your deck is. They can help you with the mulligan decisions. So that's one of the more common questions that we see players ask their teammates. Sunspire Griffin looking to trade with the Gorehouse Chainwalker here after the Lifelinker got in for 2. And I mean, I would say this is a stabilized position. I don't want to say it's a winning position, but it's certainly a stabilized position. Best gonna have to pull out some heavy hitters, and he starts with Rebel Belt Maka, the 3/3 for 4 Hill Giant. It has Blood Rush, but once it's in play, it's just a Hill Giant.
Exactly. You see a Thrill Kill Assassin.
So
Ezegelian's hand.
more super awesome defensive cards. I don't imagine the Thrill Kill's getting unleashed here. Although this position is so favorable that you know, he's all the way up to 12 life, going to 13 on the extort from the Thrill Kill. Theoretically, like that's a high enough life total. Wow, and there's the Blood Baron.
Yep.
4/4 lifelink, protection from black and white, and if you are at 30 or more and your opponent's at 10 or less,
Yes, that's exactly how it
it's
works.
+6/+6 in flying, so basically instant kill. But for now, it's a 4/4 lifelinker with protection from white and black. That is that is quite a threat. I mean, Baneslayer Angel and all. Ooh, Trader's Instinct.
Wow.
That's gonna be a pretty nice swing of life. Doesn't deal with the Blood Baron outright, but you know, you buy yourself some time with the extra padded life you're getting from it. Preventing a block so that your Hill Giant gets in for an attack. I mean, definitely not the worst play, but it's also not a clean answer. You know, it's not it doesn't remove the actual scary part, which is the 4/4 lifelinking body.
Sure. I think Best also has an active treason in his hand. So
He's just gonna steal it again.
yeah, so next turn we might pretty much see the same exact thing.
Yeah, I mean, if the play's good enough for this turn, might as well do it again next turn, I guess.
Yep. So Ezegelian's gonna go down to 3, but then he's probably gonna go up to about 8 next turn.
Yeah, 3 seems scary.
Yeah.
3 seems scary, but when you realize that he's gonna hit for 4 lifelink and get at least 1 extort off of, or at least 4 lifelink, maybe 6.
Okay.
Plus the extort off of the thrill kill. That'll bring him up to 10.
Yeah, it'd be a totally different game.
Yeah, that is tough life total to close out.
It definitely looks really good for Ezegelian.
I mean, we saw him sacrifice his dutiful throw earlier for 3 points. Would have saved a little life in the meantime, but you can see how thin that line was to tread of his life total and why he would make such a conservative block. Had he not drawn the lands that turn previous, he wouldn't have had mana to regenerate, and then that turn he wouldn't have had mana to regenerate, thanks to playing the Blood Baron and a Guildgate as his 6th land. It was definitely a sound sacrifice.
Yeah, and it looks like Best has drawn a Boros Elite, not really going to do too much now.
Yeah, the turn 9 or whatever, Boros Elite, not that impressive.
So what can Best do here to try to win this game?
I mean, I'm thinking like homing lightning on the Blood Baron's got to be the start, right?
Okay.
You need a non-white removal spell to take out the Blood Baron. I don't think you can win while the Blood Baron's in play. He doesn't even have a red creature to like threaten a double block so that the Blood Baron can't attack anymore. That would also be a fine start to lead with, if he draws a non-white creature, non-white, non-black creature that can threaten a double block with the Hell Giant. Maybe then you have more time to draw into a removal spell like a Homing Lightning, which I'm actually going to check to see if he has an out to the Blood Baron.
Yeah, count how many outs he actually has. As Ezegelian gets in for 4 more damage, gaining 4 more life. In a very dominating board position, he's up a game, and
does not look like he has a Homing Lightning. He's got a Mugging, but that's not going to do it.
There's a Basilica Screecher with an Extort trigger.
Yeah, it doesn't actually look like Hepburn Best has any real answers to the Blood Baron.
I think he drew a Rakdos Calculator. Is that an answer?
No.
Are you sure?
It's actually kind of funny because even though it's a red creature, so that you could double block. It's also black with hybrid, so you actually can't because the protection from Black Claw's coming up against the Boros deck, thanks to the hybrid Rakdos Calculator.
All right, so Best is going to play this out. Now, do you think there's any argument at all where the game is looking so bad for you, for example?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're probably, I don't even know what percent chance you could win. Any chance to kind of maybe scoop up a game and help your teammates?
Absolutely. Like in these team formats, I mean, once you're drawing completely dead, even if I'm like 1% to win, I think I'm going to play it out because there's still like value there.
Okay.
But once you're completely cold, like there's nothing else you can do.
Sure.
Then it's definitely correct to just pack it in and go help your teammates. Try and finish the match strong.
Okay. Yeah, I'm one usually to never concede for the most part, but
until you're completely dead, I agree.
Okay.
And with an active treason, he's definitely not completely dead. I would definitely put him at sub 5% to win. But,
sure.
But it's definitely not a favorable position. But I definitely don't think that there's a reason to scoop quite yet.
Yeah, no, definitely not. This game is still going on. It just looks poor.
Yes.
For Best.
Yes. And so the thrill kill going on the 3/3, completely understandable block there. The Boros Elite is battalion, so that would be a theoretical 7. Gaining Best 4 life. Ezegelian considering a chump block here on the Boros Elite with this Screecher. Actually don't think he has to.
Oh no, definitely not.
But I would understand why he would, I think that it's better to hedge against peeled Homing Lightning for your Blood Baron, still have a threat in the form of a Flyer and Extorter.
Yes.
You're going to gain enough life from the Extort and your other lifelink guy and the one more pretty much guaranteed hit you're going to get out of the Blood Baron, that's going to give you enough of a padded life total that you don't have to worry you're getting burned out or whatever, even if you get Homing Lightning. And that's exactly what it does. He just takes the 3 from the Boros Elite. Now he gets to attack back for a bunch of lifelink. He's got 2 Extorters. His life total is going to go up to 14 or so, 15 or something like that.
Yeah, depending on how many spells he ends up playing.
Really, really favorable spot. Well sculpted game. Fairly aggressive start from Best, but he basically the game came down to that one turn with the Madcap skills. Right?
Yes.
He was fairly all in at that point. Like, if you don't have a removal spell, then you're in the Abyss and locked down with the Thrall.
Okay.
But if you have a removal spell, then I'm basically out of gas.
Sure.
Orzhov Charm, finishing it off. Ezegelian having enough life gain with his Lifelinkers and Extort to stabilize, to gain life once stabilized, to not be under threat. And the mythic rare from Dragon's Maze.
Yeah, so there we see an Azorius Arrestor.
Can't arrest a Blood Baron.
No.
He's above the law.
He really is. Just like Steven Seagal is above the law.
Exactly like Steven Seagal.
I like that movie. I'm going to go home and watch it. Can I borrow it? Or do you have a copy of it?
Yeah, I got it on DVD.
Okay. All right, thanks. Yeah. All right, so he gets in for just 3 damage here. Boros Elite does not have Battalion. Rakdos Calculator is a 2/2 because of the Unleash. And Ezegelian will untap and draw. I see a Sin Collector in his hand, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, just make sure the coast is clear.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why you want to swing him with the...
They're detained.
Yeah.
They are arrested.
Yeah, exactly.
Collect your sins, extort for 2. A card that is definitely breaking into standard. As we saw Chris Van Meter winning the main event yesterday. Well, this morning.
Yeah, this morning.
The standard open. Taking it down with Junk Reanimator with Sin Collectors. He said that they performed beautifully for him all weekend, and quite good and limited as well. I mean, it's a reasonably costed creature, 2/1 for 3. That's like completely fine, on par. And the ability, if you hit a removal spell or a bomb of some kind, it's just overwhelming value.
Yeah, definitely good points to bring up there. So Best is down to 8 life, pretty much facing lethal next turn.
And there's the hand.
Third. So Best gets the worst of it. I've been waiting to say that the whole entire match.
How many turns have you been waiting for that? He took a Gambit line that game, just kind of all in on the enchantments. Didn't work out. His opponent had the removal spell, and that was that. The rest, they say, was history. Just cleaning up at that point. So, Sukenik's team now down a match. Other 2 games in Game 3. As we move over to this game,
this does not look good for Sukenik.
Super full board.
Doesn't really look that good for Sukenik, I would say. What do you think?
I mean, what creature is that? The Pontiff? Because if that's a Pontiff, then
this is the one that allows all your creatures to gain
2/7. All your guys get extort. That thing is sweet.
It's the Pontiff of Blight, I believe.
Although it is kind of embarrassing when like half of your mana sources are blue.
Yeah.
You can't extort off of islands. But definitely a powerful card. As we see some fairly unfavorable blocks forced from Sukenik thanks to the Armada Worm pressure his opponent is bringing. No follow-up play, but a fairly dominating board.
All right, Gereffi wins, so it all comes down to this.
Wow, Gereffi wins his game 3.
There's the Pontiff of Blight. Sukenik's down to 7. I'm getting excited.
Yeah, this is a pretty tense game. The Pontiff, bouncing one of the worms off, sort of negating his combat skills. So, and an Unleashed Flyer not really doing that much besides having Extort thanks to the Pontiff.
Sure.
Cloudfin Raptor, Extort for 2.
So Sukenik will go up to 9. And I see a Night Veil Spectre in his hand.
Now, he can play it here for an additional blocker and evolve the Raptor, extorting for 1, or he can save it for next turn, play it off of 3 islands and extort for 3. Yeah. 4 if he draws a swamp. So that's the decision that he's trying to make right now, and it's actually pretty close, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's close to be facing down lethal. 5/5 trample, 5/5 trample, 3/3 guy. So,
so let's see. The Pontiff would block the 5/5, and presumably he would be forced to take 8 there since chumping doesn't get him anywhere. He would be going down to 1. That's a fairly precarious position. He does choose to play the Spectre, extort for 1, evolve the Cloud from Raptor. Now he has a fairly reasonable block. Like he can double the Spectre and the Raptor on the 3/3 if he really wants to. You know, it can then scavenge onto a 5/5, but like you're gonna have to draw a removal spell or something at some point anyway.
What do you think about just triple blocking and Armada Worm?
And risking going down to 2. That is also a completely reasonable line.
Yeah.
You know that your opponent's playing off the top. If he drew a Blood Rusher, good beats, you lose. But if he doesn't draw a Blood Rusher, then you're actually closer to much closer to a stabilized position. You're trading like you're trading your 2 flyers for your two untapped flyers for the worm. Then your Pontiff can match up against the other worm, and all you're worried about is the 3/3.
Exactly.
I think that's definitely a reasonable position to be in.
Yeah, and if you think about it, he's banned colors. The only Blood Rush creatures could be the Batterhorn, +3/+2.
Ooh, and there we see the Pontiff getting locked down. He still gives everything extort, but that 2/7 body was really important in the stabilization of this game. Sukenik was counting on that to be able to negate one of the worms to help him stabilize. With that out of the way, the worms really... Sukenik doesn't have any favorable blocks. And
Sukenik's just going to go to 1 life. He has to chump and go to 1.
You might as well call Sukenik the runner, because that is the bane of his defense.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thanks.
How long did you hold that one in for?
I just came up with it because I just saw the card come up on your screen, and you can see there, that is what's locking down that Pontiff. And Kvartek and his teammates working out the blocks, making sure that they're not missing anything. I guess they're seeing if the chumps are going on, like if the chumps are profitable enough that they don't risk dying on the backswing, or whether they have to keep their reach guy untapped. They realize that it's better to make both creatures chump.
Yeah, of course.
Which is the correct conclusion, but you got 6 minutes left in the rounds. This is the last match that matters.
Yeah.
Or the last match going. It's all the marbles. It makes sense to double check with your teammates, triple check with your teammates, make sure that you're doing everything right, you're not doing something stupid and leaving yourself dead in a favorable position. They come out of the tank with the right play, which is attack with all 3 creatures. Sukenik forced blocks. It's forced chumps here, and he's going to end up taking 8 anyway, going down to 2 with a locked down Pontiff, an unleashed creature, a key rune, no hand. Not looking too good. Gonna have to be a pretty sick turn for Sukenik to pull out of this one.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure what Sukenik could draw.
He only has 7 mana, so he can't even run the backdoor Prism into Merciless Eviction, which is a pretty awesome sequence. But he's a mana short from that. Don't know if he has any real outs here. Maybe Aetherize or like Gridlock to buy a turn, but that's not actually getting him anywhere. Bluster Squall, same thing, just buys a turn, but that's not going to be enough. Sukenik attack for 2, pass. The forced chumps last turn, decimating his board, leaves him dead. 3 lethal attackers coming over.
Sukenik's thinking, what can I do here?
So he's going to have to like activate chump, have a blue removal spell, extort off of the Pontiff to survive.
Aetherize would be nice here. Kind of, not really, because it would just replay Armada Worm.
Yeah.
And get a new token. Yeah, and that's it.
There's the hand.
Extends the hand.
That was a pretty sick game.
Yeah.
Like Pontiff versus Armada Worm.
Yeah, we jumped in, when...
we jumped in when there were some haymakers going down.